For understandable reasons, U.S. foreign policy in recent years has been focused on the Middle East and China. But President Obama's recent historic trip to Cuba, followed by a visit to Argentina, brought into focus the ongoing importance of U.S. relations with Latin American countries. Key members of the U.S. diplomatic corps recently visited the Wilson Center to share thoughts on hemispheric issues and relations. Their discussion provides the focus for this edition of Rewind.
The president's trip, especially to South America, comes at a difficult time for that part of the world. Brazil is in the midst of a deep political and economic crisis. Other countries in South America are facing difficulties related to the economic slowdown in China and the fall of commodity prices. U.S. diplomatic and economic relationships with Argentina, Brazil, Chile, and Uruguay are deep and still positive and likely to grow in importance. We look forward to hearing not only about the numerous challenges in South America, but also about the numerous opportunities for deeper engagement and friendship, and that is something the Wilson Center is committed to.
I was wondering if you could comment from the perspectives of your countries, of Argentina, Uruguay, and Chile, as to how those, and Brazil as well, how those trade relationships and new opportunities presented by the Pacific integration schemes are affecting the way countries of South America see their regional, if not global, insertion.
As I mentioned, I mean, Chile is very well positioned, obviously being in the Pacific Alliance and reaching out to Mercosur to do the bridging. And from the very beginning of the Chile administration, Foreign Minister Munoz has been on the lead in trying to certainly promote, greater cooperation, integration to the extent that it's possible. And it's a positive, absolutely. I mean, at the same time, of course, Chile is taking advantage of a great opportunity in the Trans-Pacific Partnership to be, and continue to be a leading free trading nation. But what is important is that it's not a question of the good guys or the bad guys, or there are obviously different approaches. But from the U.S. perspective, we want to encourage, of course, free trade, greater cooperation for the benefit of all. And I think what it's clearly been demonstrated that trade does provide a win-win situation. We've seen in the U.S.-Chile bilateral trade agreement that's now 12 years old, and that has increased bilateral trade by over 300%, and which has helped create jobs not only in Chile but in the United States.
Is Uruguay trapped now with the recession in Brazil and its position within Mercosur?
Brazil is very much preoccupied with its own internal issues, but Argentina is a tremendous opportunity, and the visit of President Macri to Uruguay was very positive and resulted in very quickly resolving some of the outstanding bilateral issues. Uruguay is, because of its relatively open economy, has been called a Pacific country on the Atlantic coast. But they're also they are committed to Mercosur. They're not going to walk away from Mercosur. They're committed to working within Mercosur to bring it back, to make it more effective as a customs union. But they're also very interested in exploring what possibilities TPP might offer once it's been ratified by the original members and perhaps opened up for new members. Like in any country, it's a domestic political issue as well. So opening the economy and showing everything you got. There's opposition among labor unions to free trade regimes. So just as there is in the United States. So it's interesting because they're having that discussion now. They're in the midst of, with Uruguay, are we going to be part of a transatlantic or a trans-Pacific agreement or not?
I think this support will basically facilitate reconceptualization, not just in Argentina, but in Mercosur altogether, on how to engage, how to insert Mercosur in the kind of emerging global economy as they look around and you see TTIP on one side and TPP on another, I think Mercosur has a major challenge in front of it. And I think the new Argentine government realizes that, but wants to see it as an opportunity.
When the TPP was announced, there was a total shift. It coincided with the economy deteriorating, and all of a sudden, we're getting all these voices of key interlocutors, the Minister of Agriculture, the Minister of Commerce, saying, wait a minute, we've been left out. What is this? Can we talk about it? And so what we have right now is an opportunity to discuss these trade issues, and in a way that we've not had it. A little late, but we're trying to take advantage of this opening, including, that's why the Minister of Commerce and the Minister of Foreign Affairs are coming in at the end of the month to elevate the discussions on trade, which is something that had not happened before.
There is an increasingly acknowledgement in Brazil by members of political parties, by the leadership, by the business community that favored protectionism. Brazil is a protectionist country traditionally because the business community favored that. Mm-hmm. This has
flipped.
Shift. Now there is an increasing recognition that Brazil is pretty isolated in trade terms because Brazil opted for isolation.
For more on this and other regional topics and related issues, visit wilsoncenter.org. Click the Research tab and search under the Brazil Institute and the Latin American Program.